Me with my parents, they want me to get a boob job. So, throw away? Yeah. As the title says, I'm 21 years old. 22 next month, if it matters. My family is Hispanic and there's a very casual view of things like plastic surgery in Latin America, with the outlook being something of the if you can afford it, why not, variety, at least from what I've experienced. We currently live in the US, and have done so since I was about 6. Not one adult woman in my family has gone without some sort of, improvement, something which, although I can support for them, find completely a no-go for me, due to fears of surgeries in general. I have really terrible anxiety and I have been known to work myself into full panic attacks before dental procedures. I can't honestly imagine going under any kind of knife. I'm actually quite happy with my body. Definitely not in shape, yeah, but I'm working on it and I like the challenge. I'm a 36B. Basically my whole adult life, my parents have hinted at my getting some form of breast enhancement done. Since I was 18 and it became clear that my chest wasn't going to go any farther out, essentially. First it started with my mom, who got a breast lift and tummy tuck this summer after I graduated high school. She commented constantly on how happy she was with her new shape, how she should have sprung some to have the butt raised too, how well she was doing in recovery. When we would go clothes shopping together, she'd walk over to the bra racks, pick out bras she knew I would like, and then show them to me and say, 38C, and say I should buy them in that size instead, since it won't be too long before you need them in that size. I stopped shopping for clothes with my mom around. Comments keep coming in from other sources though, and my cousin's recent surgery, a month and a half ago, she's now a 40DD. Or, will be, after the swelling goes down more, has not made it any easier to avoid them. My dad isn't too fazed by the whole thing, doesn't comment on his own, but he actually agrees with my mom when the subject comes up during dinner, saying it will make me more attractive, make it easier to find flattering clothes. I don't think I need this. I like my tiny boobs. My Christmas gift this year from my mom was a voucher promising to pay for the surgery and all associated costs, new bras, clothes, it was crazy. I joked that I would rather have that money as savings or into a new car deposit. You know, useful things, not boobs. It's become such a point of pressure between my parents and I that there's not one evening when that comes up that doesn't end in all of us in separate corners of the house, fuming. I just don't know how to shut this down effectively, and I still have about a year of living with them before I'm financially stable enough to move out. We live in a high COL area. TLDR, parents think I need new tits, I would rather they give me the cash. Update January 13th, 2016, 6 days later. This is an update of sorts to my original post here. Well, once I had cooled down a bit, the first post was written literally about 30 to 40 minutes after I had one of those discussions with my mom regarding the state of the chest. I gave everything some thought and hit the gym, HAH. It was my weigh-in day after 4 months of really intense work, and I'm glad to start seeing noticeable, unignorable results. I came home, went to bed, and then didn't see my parents until Monday night dinner. That being said, I was not at all expecting the amount of responses I got, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of them. You guys are really the best, even the joke comments were able to keep me laughing. So, on to the meat and potatoes. I finally had a sit down with mom and dad on Monday and asked them to explain to me why they thought I needed any kind of surgery. What came through, after much prodding and defensiveness, was actually what I think maybe only one or two of the last post's commenters might have seen coming. Turns out, my parents hate that I am not dating a man of my own country/culture. They feel I'm dating down or settling with my current boyfriend, and they think I'm just not attractive to men of my race/culture due to my, comparatively, but not objectively, small chest. Somehow in their minds they thought I would be much more willing to dump my boyfriend once a ton of hot, tan, Latino guys came running at my doors. I honestly could not believe the shit they were spewing. I felt sick. I knew they weren't thrilled with my choice in boyfriend. But after 2 years I'd hoped they had gotten over that. It was insane. I told them under no uncertain terms that if they so much as mentioned my tits or my boyfriend in a derogatory manner again, I was cutting them from my life entirely. More yelling and cursing than needed in this summary were included, but trust me, I pretty much let them have it. Today, I requested more hours at my current job, and while not tied into my actual college major, I only worked part-time while interning at something that was in my degree field, but now that internship is ending and I will go on to full-time at my current company, the work is lucrative enough that within the next month or so I should be able to move out of my parents' home. Gonna miss the cats. But now I get to try and find a studio or something similar so I can move. Wasn't planning on doing it till October, but March will do. TLDR, turns out parents are shitheads, moving out, no need for new boobs. Also, I'm down 15 pounds. 10 more to go. My GF of 6 months has changed her behavior recently and I want to leave. So I met her earlier this year. We were fast friends within a month of meeting and dating after a month, official for 6 months or so. Met her on a night out with some friends. We live separately, but she spends a lot of time at my house as it's nearer to where she works. Our relationship started really nicely. I felt like we just got on really well and she was very supportive of me as well. But recently she's been quite pushy about me making changes to my lifestyle and seems angry and disappointed with the results. The two big ones are my work and what I wear. As for my work, I work at the same store I've worked at since I was 16. It's just an easy job, pays my bills, and I know how to do everything there. I'm basically a manager without the responsibility of actually being a manager, as I don't want that level of responsibility for no extra pay. I also make money via stocks and cryptocurrencies, so I don't struggle for money. As for what I like to wear, I have many jumpers and t-shirts of an emo band my friends and I loved when we were young. I genuinely have like 50 or so that I wear a lot because it makes me happy and doesn't hurt anyone either. I admit I have a bit of a problem with anxiety. Familiarity helps me with it. Some family thinks I might have OCD, but I've never been diagnosed. My girlfriend a few weeks ago expressed frustration with my clothes, saying I need to grow up and get new ones. She spends a lot of money to get whatever clothes are in fashion. I don't have a problem with that as it's her money to spend and she isn't hurting anyone. But I don't know why she has a problem with my clothes. The argument was big but resolved and we went shopping and bought me some new clothes. They are actually quite nice and I like wearing them too. A few days later I was wearing a band t-shirt again because the new clothes were in the wash and she was really angry about it. I explained the new clothes were in the wash and it wasn't decided that I'd completely stop wearing the band stuff. She wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the day. The next day she had cooled off and explained that she thinks new clothes will help me grow as a person. We talked a long time and I eventually agreed to get rid of the band clothes. While I was packing them up I started crying and she called me stupid and I asked her to leave. She came back a few hours later and we made up. I packed the boxes into my car and told her I was going to donate them. She was really pleased and said I was making the right choice getting rid of them. I didn't donate them. I took them to work and I'm keeping them there until further notice. My boss was confused but understanding. I got back home and she'd ordered my lots of new clothes. She told me she understands it was upsetting, but I'd be better off for it. That night, a few hours later, she wanted to talk about my work and why I'm not a manager. I explained to her that I don't want to be. She's been distant and only talks about how I should ask to be a manager. I've explained why I don't want to be, and that I wouldn't even be paid more, nor is there a need for it at the store. She just keeps saying that I need to fight for a pay rise as well so I can treat us to nice things. I told her that isn't how it works and that I make money in other ways and that she has her own money too, so it shouldn't matter. She shouted at me that I'm useless and stormed out. My boss also told me she called the store and asked him why I'm not a manager. After being upset and feeling useless for a few hours, I decided that I don't want to be with her. I realized I don't see my friends as much as I used to because she likes to spend all our free time just us. I just don't feel happy with her anymore and feel like she actually acted differently when we started out just to get close to me. She even said she loved all the band stuff when I first showed her. I think she may be right that new clothes might help me a bit. I genuinely appreciate that and like how I look in some of the clothes we bought. But I also liked how I looked in the band stuff and still think it wasn't over the top. I'd normally just wear jeans and a t-shirt or jumper anyway. I don't think it's as ridiculous as she said it was. I just thought of it as a wearable collection. People collect weirder things. As well as this, I really don't like that I lied to her about donating the band stuff. It felt horrible and dishonest. My boss and colleagues could tell something was off when I took the boxes into work. I try to be honest as I don't want to upset people. TLDR, my GF of 6 months has become controlling and angry at me and made me get rid of some clothes that are special to me, is also trying to get me to become a manager at my work, even called my boss to ask about it. I've decided I want to leave her, but I'm scared to because she can be manipulative and angry. Anyway, I want to break up with her, but I know it's going to be difficult. She's good at talking me into stuff, but my mind is made up 100% on this. I'm still not sure when or how to do it though. I'm feeling really anxious about it. Wondering if you guys can give me some advice or help? How can I be assertive about wanting to break up and not have her talk me out of it? Update. Some things I want to address first. I work at the same place I have done for years because of my anxiety. I know how to do everything at my job and it helps me feel grounded and not worry. When I said I'm basically a manager, I mean that I do sometimes fill in shifts and responsibilities for them, and we have talked about me officially being manager before, but it's not what I want. I don't want to take my work home with me and never be able to switch off like I see some of them do. That said, I do want to have some more ambition in my life going forward, and I am going to be looking at other ventures. My band clothes are now back at my house. I still have the new clothes we bought as I paid for a lot of them, and I plan to continue wearing them too. I can see what she meant by wanting me to wear new clothes. I just didn't like her end goal or the way she went about it. For the people thinking I dress like those goth people dancing under a bridge, I don't. It's usually just a band tee/jumper with some normal jeans. I'm not a teenager, just a 30 years old who still loves the same band, haha. No hate to those dancing goths. I love that meme. Okay, so on to the main story. I took advice from some of the responses to the OP. We live separately, so there wasn't any issues with leases, but I did change my lock as I had given her a key a few months ago. As for the breakup, it didn't go well, but it did go at least. I was at home thinking of how to do it, which cafe/restaurant I was gonna do it in, etc. She finished work and came to mine without any prior discussion, not out of the ordinary to be fair. Anyway, she could tell something was off, and because I'd been thinking about it all for hours, I was 150% sure I wanted to do it, so just did it here instead. I first told her that I had lied about donating my clothes and that I'd actually taken them to work instead. She was angry and calling me a liar and everything. I apologized for it and tried to explain that I felt a lot of unfair pressure to get rid of them when I didn't really want to and my collection wasn't hurting anyone. I don't really feel that the argument was fair, and I feel that her actions made me lie to her, but I hate saying stuff like that, so I just left it and moved on. I then told her I was really annoyed about her calling my boss. She said she was sorry, but I should be a manager. I said that's okay, and she looked confused but accepted it, I guess. Then I just said I didn't want to be with her anymore because she actually had given me a second to speak. She looked shocked and asked me what I meant. I just said I didn't want to be with her anymore and that I wanted her to leave and would be changing my locks, but was open to calling to messaging about picking up her stuff. She said stuff like we don't have to break up, but I kept saying my mind is made up and technically we already had. She called me pathetic as she walked out the door and slammed it behind her. This was the other day. I haven't heard from her, but I sent her a message about picking up her stuff. There isn't much of it here, so maybe she doesn't want to? Anyway, since then, I called my boss to explain that situation and be wary of any contact from her. We've worked together for years and we're good friends, so he was very understanding and said if I need help in any way he'll try to provide it. We go for drinks often with other colleagues, so I'll explain it all to them there probably. As for me, like I said above, I do want to work on myself a bit, partly because of the things she said, but not for the same reasons, just for me to grow a bit in terms of work experience and fashion sense. I'll be buying more smart casual clothes to wear as well. I don't think I'll ever fully stop wearing the band clothes though, ha ha ha. I don't quite know what I want to do in terms of work, but I have the experience of teamwork and leadership from the store, which I think is usable and transferable to other jobs too. I'm feeling weird, but okay, It feels great to have acted decisively. I haven't felt sad yet, not happy either, just relieved mostly. Some of her stuff is still here and it feels weird to see it knowing it'll never be that way again. I don't know how to describe that feeling. Anyway, I've spoken to friends about it and will be seeing them soon. What she's been up to or what she'll do, not sure if I want to. There's nothing left for me with her anyway. Just wanted to thank everyone for their kind words in the OP. It felt really good to know I wasn't being treated fairly and I wasn't just being stupid like she said. Some even messaged me with similar stuff or how much they liked their partners with similar habits to my band clothes, which was really nice. One of the reasons I still wear the band tees is sometimes other fans spot them and we'll have a nice conversation about it and always end the conversation smiling, haha, it's just nice. TLDRGF came to my house and it took an hour or so, but I broke up with her and she left. Locks have been changed and clothes returned. Thins are weird, but definitely better. I'll be working on myself, but doing it purely for me, not for her or anyone else. Thanks again for kind words and advice, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the story.